Hey, chicas, welcome to another episode of Chica, We Got This. This is a podcast for Latinas by Latinas. And when I say by Latinas, I really mean it because ever since I opened up my podcast for Latinas to join me, tell me their chisme, their business, their life story, Latinas have joined. And I am so blessed to have a new girlie on the team, Vanessa. Thank you for being here, Vanessa. I really appreciate you hopping on. How are you? How was your day? How you doing?
Thank you for having me. As mentioned before, like I'm a little nervous because I've never done this before, but I'm super excited to be here. I love podcasts, so just being able to like see what goes on in the background of like podcasts and how they're recorded and stuff makes me like really excited. But yeah, my day's been really busy today. I've been running around. I feel like sometimes I can be like a people pleaser where I don't want to say no to certain things. So I'm like running around and then I have a daughter. So I'm trying to run around to get her ready and put her in the car. So it's been a busy one, but it's been
Oh my gosh, girlie, you busy.
good.
I'm
Yes,
done.
yes.
I'm done. So you have a little princess. Is it a
Yeah,
little
so
you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. She is 20 months, so like a little over a year and a half. So she's a handful for sure. She's like a
Mm-hmm.
sponge right now, picking everything up. So just got to be careful around what is
Yeah.
said and what is done around her right now.
Understood. I'm done. How's it been being a mom? Like, how do you feel?
It's been really fun. It's definitely been like a learning as we go process. I just feel like before I had a baby and everything, I had like a very good routine for myself and I was just very like independent in what I did. So it's been an adjustment for sure, getting used to having a baby and like making my schedule work around her. Like I work full time. I work like corporate job. I work at an ad agency. So it's been really interesting like trying to navigate working full time and then also like taking care of a house and I live with my boyfriend and taking care of a baby. So it's been an adjustment for sure, but I'm really blessed to have like the people that I do around me because I have a lot of help.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a blessing, and I'm very happy that you have that support by your
Hmm.
side.
Oh
Do you have
yes,
any
definitely.
besties that are like your to die for, or like a sister? Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I do. So I have a sister. She's 4 years older than me, and she's a huge help when it comes to like Natalie, that's my daughter's name. She's a huge help with her. She watches her like twice a week while I work, and then obviously like if I need help on other days, she's available. And then I have like my two sister-in-laws, which are they honestly are like my sisters. They help me so much. They have
Um,
kids of their own as well. So everyone's just super helpful, and I love it.
oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
so good. That's
Hmm.
awesome. So tell me a little bit of about you. By the way, listeners, this girlie has a TikTok and an IG that you must follow. It's vanessa.vo2. So go follow her on TikTok and Instagram so you can see a little more about her life. But from your perspective, what is your page like? What might we encounter? Like, what do you put out there?
Yeah, so my Instagram is more like, that Instagram vibe where you want to have like a nice little aesthetic and platform. I try to keep
Right.
that a little bit more, like about the travel and my friends and things like that. Sometimes family pictures here and there. My TikTok, I'm still kind of trying to get the hang of it. I just started
Mhm.
posting like very recently on there, and I don't have like a specific niche. I feel like I'm just kind of trying to focus everything on like reality. Like I don't get pretty and wear makeup every day on TikTok. Like I just don't have the energy to do it. Like realistically, like I said, I work full time. I have a baby. Like realistically, I don't want to get ready every day. So like, yeah, you can find me on TikTok looking like a little bum sometimes, but that's just like the reality of it. And I think
Yeah.
it's just important to remember that. So I think I'm trying to keep it that way, very like realistic lifestyle based. That's kind of what it is at the moment.
Okay. Yes, that's what we
Yeah.
want. Is the real, like, uncut raw you. Like that's what we want to
Hmm.
see. And that's sometimes something I kind of bring into my podcast. While at times I'm like, I should really get a little prettier or something, but it's not me. It's not who I am. I don't
Hmm.
I don't put on makeup. I don't do that. So like I come on here looking the way I normally do, and if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. It's about what I'm
Yeah,
saying, not how I look.
of
But
course.
I'm happy that you're getting a little out there with your TikTok. It's a very uncomfortable space, honestly. I don't know if you agree, right?
Yes.
It's very
Yeah,
vulnerable.
I'm definitely like it's taking some getting used to for sure. It's very
Yeah.
like awkward to just like film yourself doing things. And that's kind of like where I'm trying to put myself out there and be like, okay, whatever. Like I'm gonna do a skincare routine because this is what I'm gonna do anyway. So I might as well just record it and put it up. And like I'm a big like YouTube girly. Like I love YouTube. But it's a little intimidating. So I'm like, I'll just start on TikTok and kind of go from there. Like I just like watching YouTube. So it just
Yeah.
makes me more intrigued to do it. But yeah, I'm like, I don't have the energy to get ready every day. Like, yes, I want to sometimes, but I just
Hmm.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. It's not, and it doesn't have to always be like that. Like it's the
exactly.
trending thing, but it doesn't mean it's real and like from a genuine person. Like support the girlies who are doing what they can. You know,
Hmm.
is there any, I know you said that you listen to podcasts. Do you have any podcasts that you like, or even just people on Instagram that whose pages you like and what they do?
Um, I I feel like my podcasts are very like health oriented, like growing as a person oriented. So I'm really into the Skinny Confidential just because they do so many different things. Do you listen to them? Yeah, so I love them. I love them because they talk about so many different things. Like one week it's like celebrity gossip, and the other week it's like health and wellness, you know? So I
Yeah.
really like them. And then I also really like Zayn and Heath Unfiltered. I like them just because they're funny. So sometimes it's like I just want something mindless. So I'm in between both.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you follow them on Instagram? Like, do you like, I know how some people they're like they'll watch reality shows and be like, I've seen their life on Instagram to see if it's real and what's not. Are you someone that kind of like does that as well?
Yeah, I do and I don't. I mean, I do follow them on Instagram. Everyone I listen to, watch on YouTube, I'll follow them just for like it's fun seeing like the little updates, especially if I'm like listening to their
Right?
podcast or watching their YouTube videos. It's fun to see like the side of it. But like I don't always have time to get on there and just scroll, but it's fun and I definitely do follow a lot of
Yeah, and
people on
support
there.
them. Yes. That's
Yes.
something I try to tell my Latinas and whoever's listening, make sure that you are following me on Instagram, Chico We Got This _pod, because I do share a lot of like valuable content on there. You know, it's not just the podcast. It's like I'm literally I have my phone on me all the time and sometimes I take you guys with me and I want to show you like what I'm doing, how I'm feeling even like it's good to connect with the people that take the time to put themselves out there for you and your entertainment, your comfort, your growth, you know. But
Mhm.
since you're putting yourself out there, what's kind of like something that's helped you do that and keep posting and putting yourself out here? What got you to hop on the podcast?
I feel like it's honestly like I don't know if it's just age at this point where I just don't care like what people have to say. I feel like when I was younger, I'd be like, "Oh, I want to do that," but also like it's kind of embarrassing or like I'm nervous of like what other people are gonna say. But at this point in my life, I'm just kind of like, I want to do it because it's kind of fun. I enjoy editing videos. I'm still kind of trying to get the hang of it, but like making like the transitions on TikTok or like recording just like even like the skincare routines that I do,
Mm-hmm.
or just like shaving my face, like little things that I do on there. Like while I'm recording it, I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna work out. And then I go edit it and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is fine. Like it's actually like
Yeah.
really fun to do. So I think I'm just in that mindset at this point where I'm like, I don't really care like what people have to say. Like if they want to support me, they can. Like of course I'd love it. But if they don't, like also like it's fine.
Yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to. You don't need to support
Yeah.
me. You don't need to be here. You don't need to listen or
Yes.
like or do anything. The right
Yeah.
person will come.
Exactly. And at this point, like honestly, like I'm just having so much fun doing it. I try to like stay consistent and sometimes I can't because I just like I run out of time in a day. Or like I'm trying to record and like my daughter won't go to sleep or something. So sometimes like
Hmm.
I'll skip a day or two, but I think it's just important to like just because you skip those days to not give up, to just kind of come back and be like, okay, like I can come right back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
And consistency, yes, it's key, but it's not the only way. It's
Yeah, I think it's
there's
important, like, if you fall off to remember, like, oh, you can just hop right back on, you know? It's like, just because you fell off, it's not like, oh, it's like pointless now, you know?
yeah,
Like, just hop right back
exactly.
on.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and some people didn't, the people that you try to reach and that follow you might not even have like opened their phone that day or their
Hmm.
Instagram or TikTok. So it's like, it's the world is not going to end because you didn't show up a day or two or, because you were busy. It's just life.
Yeah. Yeah, life
But,
happens.
exactly, exactly. So what's kind of helping you keep that balance going? Because being a mom, doing full-time job, like what kind of helps you keep the balance and keep you afloat?
I honestly, like, I feel like I have to credit everyone that I have in my life because, like I said, there's so much help. Like my mom, my aunts, my sisters, my friends, like every person in my life, like loves my daughter so much and they are just so helpful that I think it just makes it so much easier. And like same with her dad, like right now, like he like came home because I'm like, I need someone to watch her while I do this because he was
Mhm.
out. And it's like I just have like a very good support system when it comes to her and like my me time as well that like I would not be able to do it without them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's so
Yeah.
good. So tell me a little more about n- I see it's a very supportive family. So kind of what was it like
Hmm.
growing up in your house?
So I grew up, so actually I was born in Mexico City. So me, my parents, like they brought me and my sister here when I was 4 and when my sister was 8. My parents have always been very supportive, very like hardworking. They've just showed me like that very hard work ethic. And so I feel like growing up, like my aunts and my cousins, they were all in the same boat. Like they all immigrated here, like my tios immigrated here with my cousins when we were all very young. So it was a very like, okay, our parents are working very hard. Like we're gonna get dropped off at my cousin's house and we're gonna like take care of each other type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it was a very much like my older sister and my older cousin taking care of like the younger kids. But
Hmm.
I think that we've just grown up with that like we need to help each other. So I don't know. I've just kind of had that mentality always growing up.
Yeah. Would you say that maybe that's where you mentioned before that you feel like you're a little people pleaser and
Yeah,
sometimes it
maybe.
it comes out like that. Yeah. It
Yeah.
all comes together, full circle.
Yeah, no, seriously. Because I feel like, especially like growing up with like an immigrant family and like obviously my not just like my internal family, but my external family, it's like you kind of just have to be there for each other. You kind of have to know like when you can help out. Like it was just kind of not an obligation, but kind of an obligation. Like I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. It's like I feel like if you grew up an immigrant, you kind of just know that you're gonna have to be there to help your parents do something, or you're gonna have to help your tios if your cousins can't because they have school or they have something else this day. So it was just a big like rotating circle of everyone just kind of helping each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
it's very good to hear that you don't put it on a negative light. A lot of people are
Hmm.
like, it's just so tied to my family and like I just have to do everything and I have to put them first and da 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 da. But the way that you talk about it is, to come and show that it's something you're proud of and you're happy to do. At
Yeah.
times, there's balance, but it's good
Yeah.
to
I
hear
mean, don't
that.
get me wrong. Like, yeah, when you're younger, you're kind of like when you're younger, you look at it differently. You're like, oh, like I
Yeah.
don't want to do this or I don't want to translate. I don't want to do that. But like growing up and looking back, you see it and you're just kind of like, oh, like that was kind of nice. Like everyone just kind of helping each other. And it does get overwhelming sometimes, but you just kind of have to think about it as like a full circle moment. Like I help you, you help me type thing. And like we've just always been so supportive and stuff that it's worked out.
Oh, awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So tell me kind of a little more about you. Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to do? What's your goal? In an ideal world, like, what do you want your future to look like?
Oh gosh. I feel like right now, like I said, I work in advertising. That's what I went to school for. It's something that I actually like really enjoy doing. Right now I work for like more of like the business side of it. And I'm not super creative. Like I am, but I'm not to the like point where I can like come up with ideas at the top of my head. Like I need a little bit of like something to back up off of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I eventually like want to work with like brandings and brands. Like I like the business side of it, but I also think it's like really cool to like work with the brand and like see what goes behind like every little thing makes a brand. So I think it's really cool. And I think eventually, like maybe that's kind of like what I see myself doing, which is kind of like why I like TikTok and social media because you're like building a brand for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I enjoy working the job that I work. And I just feel like social media is like a fun hobby that I feel like I could make something out of it if I actually like try and like pull like an effort.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I'm trying to do right now, and we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Like
And
if
is
it
there
works out
some
into something cool.
right? Exactly. You never know what could happen. That's why, like, I say ideal world because I want some girlies to really understand that the ideal world is the world that we live in. You just have to
Hmm.
work for it and you have to understand that you can make those dreams come true. Whatever you think that is like an idea that you're like, oh, like maybe this could be cool. It's like if you think about it and you think it could be cool and you think that it could work out, it's because it really can. Like give it a
Yeah,
try. So I really hope that you give it a shot because if you
I
say that
know.
it's fun, you're already in a good spot because you feel comfortable with it. Like it can get frustrating and it can be like irritating when it's like, oh, I didn't post, or I forgot, or like, life gets real. But you seem to still be having a good time about it and like not putting too much pressure, which is where a lot of us kind of, that's where I sometimes do go wrong. It's like I put a lot of pressure on myself because I care about it. It's very important
Yeah.
and I'm passionate about it. So I'm happy that you're enjoying it and that it's something that you are being kind to yourself in the process with. So what's
Mhm.
something that you like to do? Like um do you have any hobbies? Like I know some girlies that I've met, they like makeup, they'd like to journal, meditate, go out hiking, cook, travel. What's your thing?
So right now at the moment, um, I'm really trying to get like my health and wellness up. So I feel like that's a really big hobby of mine. Obviously, like I love traveling and stuff. But this year is definitely about me like bettering myself and I've always worked out pretty consistently. And I think like having a baby and stuff kind of threw me off of my routine of like working out and eating healthy and doing like a lot of things for myself. So right now, like my hobbies are literally just kind of like anything that will make me better, I'll do. Like I'll try it all.
Yes. Yeah. Is there one thing that's your favorite? Like something that you always like you really enjoy doing?
So I recently, I don't even know, I think I posted a TikTok about this, but I was doing Pilates and I loved it. It's so fun. Like it actually makes you want to go work out. But I stopped that because I want to like get into like weightlifting and just like getting a little stronger. Pilates is like really good for strength, but like body strength, like working off of like the muscles you have, where like weightlifting builds like bigger muscle. And that's kind of what
Yeah.
I need right now. So I was really enjoying Pilates, but I'm trying to get into weightlifting and it's been fun at the moment. It's challenging, but I'm definitely up for the challenge. So that's kind of what I've been enjoying right now is like really trying to figure out like the workout routine that I'm gonna enjoy and like get me to go actually work out.
Yeah. That's fun. Have you
Yeah.
been doing like the Pilates and like the big, little station thing, or has it been like without any equipment?
Yeah, so I was doing it at Club Pilates. So it was like class
The whole
based on like
thing.
the reformer. Yeah. It was fun. It gets pricey though. So I was like,
Yeah.
I do need to get weightlifting, so let me take a break. But honestly, like once I get to the point that I want to be like muscle wise, I'll probably go back to Pilates. Like it's really such a fun workout.
I want to do it too. I saw this
Yeah.
girlie. I don't know if you watched Love is Blind, but one of the girls is a Pilates instructor and she's doing it on YouTube as well. So I'm like, hey, if it's free, let me see what Pilates is even like and about,
Hmm.
Seems so graceful, but at the same time, you are getting
Yes.
that exercise. So I might just give it a try. Thank you for letting
Yeah,
me
I definitely,
know.
yeah, no, seriously, it's so good. I know like a lot of the times too, like if you actually want to go do it at a studio, you get your first class free. At least that's kind of how I get started with like every class I've ever done. I always like go for like the free class and then I go from there. But even like mat Pilates, it's so good. Like it's very small movements where you don't feel like you want to pass out because you can't breathe
Yeah.
or something. It's just like small and controlled movements that like I actually enjoy doing. So I think you'll like it a lot. Definitely try it out.
Yes, I will. I'm starting my gym journey on
Ooh.
Monday. So, I'm gonna mix some like I already know I'm very weak. And so I'm like I'm not going to like weightlifting or anything like that yet. I'm gonna start with like doing some Pilates, some stretching and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
I hope,
no.
I feel like I'll like it. So, I will let you know how it goes. I'll keep you updated. But
Yes, for sure.
Yes. So tell me a little more about like let's go into the other side of the situation because you seem like such a bright and beautiful person. So tell
Thank
me
you.
kind of like um I guess what's something that you have struggled with and how did you manage to get out of there and like come out on the other side of the rainbow?
I feel like I said, like I feel like the people pleasing for me is
Yeah.
kind of like what I struggle with only because I feel like I get like anxiety from it. Not in like the anxiety where I have like anxiety attacks, but more of like oh like what if I say no to this? Like what is this person gonna think? Or like um even like certain situations, like the situations where you say something and you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. And then you just think about it over and over. Like it just replays in your head over and over and over again. That's what I like, that's the anxiety that I struggle with. It's not even like the anxiety attacks, it's more of like situational where like something happens and I just can't get it out of my head. I'm like
Yeah.
losing sleep over like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that, or oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. And I just like play it back in my head like what did they see, like did it really look that bad or was it not? So I think that's kind of what I struggle with, or have struggled with in the past. Like I said, at this point in my life, like I feel like the older I get, the more that I realize like it's really not that big of a deal. Like it happened at this point, like what's the point of like stressing about it, or like stressing about a situation that you are in that you can't get over, like, and can't stop thinking about. It's like at this
Yeah.
point it happened, like what are you gonna do?
Literally,
So that's
literally.
kind of
That's
like the
a
mindset that I'm in right now. Just be like,
yeah.
oh, well, it happened. Like, sorry, there's nothing you can do. Just move on.
Yeah, that's a good way to kind of see things. To just kind of give yourself a little space to breathe, you know?
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you do sometimes to help like kind of like with that anxiety? I know that for me I have a little like I'm a little of a people pleaser too. And I tend to like I think the thing that I struggle with is visiting family just because like I
Mm,
grown up being forced to do it instead of enjoying it myself.
mm.
So like anytime I have to visit family, like it just creeps up and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I just get so much anxiety and it's not because I don't love them. I do and it's not because I don't want to visit. It's just like I'm so I guess like it's the trauma that speaking
Yeah.
there. And so I know that what helps me is like treating myself to something after the family visit, like getting ice cream or just something to like look
Okay.
forward to on the other side. So like is there something that helps you kind of put less pressure on yourself and be able to get through it,
Yeah. No, that's such a good idea. Like,
right?
like something to look forward to afterwards.
Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
that could even work for content creators that are struggling putting themselves out there and putting their content out there. It can be like just treat yourself to something afterwards
Hmm.
because it is, it does take a little strength to be posting.
Oh, yes. No, definitely. I'll definitely
Yeah.
keep that in mind. That's so good.
Right, right. It does help. It has helped me.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little about this trend, girl. What did you think?
I think it's really cool. I think I love seeing like women supporting other women. It's nice to see for once that like they're not like putting people against each other. It's more about like uplifting. Like there's no competition here. Like everyone can win. There's no reason why like you can't support like another Latina. It's like it's really cool to see because I feel like TikTok you don't see like a lot of like Latina creators and even like me, like I could say like I'm probably part of the problem because when I like the people that I follow, they're not Latinas or like now my
Yeah.
obviously I'm growing, but like before, like even like the YouTubers I watched, like the Instagram models that you follow, I think honestly like the only like Latina creator that I really like followed like vividly was Let's Do Makeup, which I don't know, have you watched her stuff? She's
No.
really funny. I love
Really?
her. She's so good. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking her stuff out. She's hilarious. But yeah, like I just you don't see it and I just felt like it's really cool to see now that like you see more Latinas on here and I've been able to like grow like the people that I follow and now I see more Latinas on my page. So I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I need
Hmm.
to check that page out. Like, what does she do? She just does makeup, like that's her thing.
So no, so I think she started off doing makeup. So I didn't like watch her from the beginning, but I think that's how she got like really big was like doing like get readies with me's and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's just like lifestyle, like vlogging and she's on Instagram, she's on TikTok. She's just really funny. Like she just posts like random stuff, but her personality is just hilarious.
Oh, that's fun. I need to
Yeah.
get me some YouTubers to watch because I
Yes.
don't have many. Like I like YouTube and I like the culture of like putting yourself out there and like being authentic and all the things that you can learn. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, YouTube is like endless information, really
I
endless
know, seriously.
information. But so what's something that you like kind of think that Latinas should know about you? With this Latina Follow trend, I'm telling people that this is a place for them to put their stories out there. And what's something that we can learn about you?
Yeah, I feel like within like the Latina community, it can be very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
So like we all grew up very differently. Like I feel like with me, like what I struggled with growing up, like being Latina, is I always grew up in like towns that were they didn't have a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
So I just like picked up little habits or like even the way I talk and things like that. Like I picked up things that most Latinos like that I'm around because I also like am a part of another community that's like super diverse and full of Latinos. And like my boyfriend, he's Mexican and Puerto Rican. And so like his brothers and their friends, like we all hang out. It's a very diverse group. But I think the one thing that I've always gotten is like, oh, you're such a white girl, like you're such this. So I think it's very important to know it's like, no, it's like it's not that I'm a white girl, it's just that I grew up around like a different environment.
Yeah.
um, but don't get me wrong, like just because I talk like this and seem like I'm such a white girl, like I'm like Mexican as fuck. Like
Yeah.
like I like I grew up with like very Mexican parents, like 100%. Like they grew up in Mexico, so like our culture and like the things that I do at home are very different. Like you could see me like on Instagram or like hear me talk now, like very white girlish or whatever you say. But then you could also see me getting curada with like a huevo or something by
Yeah.
my grandma. Like, so I don't know. I just feel like it's very diverse and it's very important to like keep an open mind.
Yes, that is very important. And a lot of times it can kind of, I don't know if you feel this way, but I have my best friend, like we had discussed this because like she grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood and like
Hmm.
county and city where it's just like it's like it's not who she is, it's just the environment that she grew up around. It's just
Yes.
it's it's these dang labels. There
Yes.
always
And
has to be a label.
it's always so funny to me because yeah, I have like this like Mexican S stuff that I do, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm Mexican as fuck just because I don't seem like it. Like I said, like I don't know if you know anything about like curandera or like things like that, but like my family believes in it very much, and like my grandma in
Hmm.
Mexico is very into it, so they do like the ventosas, the huevo, like the third eye, like it's all
Yeah.
very much like what I've learned in my culture, or even like when I had my baby. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's like the cuarentena. And it was like very new to me, and I struggled with that so much. And my mom like pushed it on me so hard, and I'm like, Mom.
How does that work? What's that?
So pretty much what it is, it's like after you have a baby, you're not supposed to really do anything like leave the house or anything for 40 days. So like I had my baby in the summertime and I'm like, Mom, like I just want to go outside. And she's like, No, you can't do that. Like you can't do this. Like you can't sweep, you can't cook, you can't like even to let my dog outside, she's like, Tapate. Like it's very intense. And so like I definitely had to work around, like be like, Mom, like I need you to watch her so I can go to the grocery store. She's like, You can't go to the grocery store. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to the grocery store. Like I need you to get out of the house. So it's just like things like that where it's very
Yeah.
intense. But yeah, that's what the quarantena is.
Oh my gosh, did you get out?
Yeah. Oh, I got out.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes,
I'm
no,
like,
I definitely got out. I definitely had to like negotiate with my mom, like, okay, listen, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna do this. Like there's certain things that I just can't. But yeah, it was definitely like a struggle where my mom's like, you can't be doing that, you can't be doing this. It's just like how they grew up, and it's like tú tienes que
yeah.
cuidar because if not, like you're gonna have problems in the long run. I'm like, Mom,
Oh
like
my
where do you get this stuff?
gosh.
So it's just funny, like because there's like certain things that she tells me, like because of how she grew up and like what she believes in and what she knows. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's
like
just
it's a
like,
combination of
yeah.
okay, I'll do something, but I'm not gonna do there's other things I just won't do.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've never heard of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not partaking because I love the sun and I love being outside.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that you got to like kind of balance with your mom because that's
Yeah.
hard. Like you just
Hmm.
had a baby, you want to be just like leave me alone. I want to do what I want to do
Yeah,
now.
exactly. And it's very like his like my mom like just very strict rules about like certain things, like even with the
Hmm.
baby, like you can't take her outside. She's only 5 days old. I'm like, Mom, she'll be fine. It's summer. Like I'm not
Yeah,
gonna have her outside in the pool. Like I just want to go on a walk.
literally.
Yeah, so it's
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
little things like that that like I grew up and I'm just like, oh, if people only knew.
Right, right. If
It's
people
so
only
funny.
knew. That's true. Is there something that you kind of experienced like in high school or middle school where you were like, wow, I really am Mexican and like y'all don't see it, or like something that told you like, yeah, you are a little different.
I don't think so. Only because like I said, like because I grew up in that environment, I was just so used to it that to me, like there was nothing wrong with growing up the way that I grew up. Like obviously at home, like I spoke Spanish and stuff, but like when I was at school, it was like it was normal. I just got accustomed to the people that I was around and I was pretty comfortable. But then we also had this like other community that I would hang out with on like the weekends and stuff where they were like Hispanic and we would go to parties and we would go to bailes and so I got to
Yeah,
experience both but that kind of like on the Hispanic side where I got the oh like you're really like white girl.
I'm good. Has that ever
But
like
no, I
really
never
gotten
had
to
like
you?
anything. Yeah, like it's never been anything where like oh I'm not Hispanic enough or anything
Yeah.
like that. No.
That's good. That's good. That's something that people struggle with. So I'm happy that it's gone different for you, and I'm very happy that you
Hmm.
have such a nice community and family. That's a real
Yeah.
blessing. That's a huge blessing. So that's really awesome. But tell me kind of what are you looking forward to in the future?
I'm looking forward to definitely growing as a person.
Hmm.
Like I said, I like to work on myself, and especially now, like I feel like I let myself go a little bit, like when I had the baby, and like after you have a baby, you just don't have energy to do anything. Like
Yeah.
it's so hard. Like even when I was pregnant, I didn't have the energy to do anything, so I would just like lay around and nap all day, and then I had the baby, and it was like that feeling like wouldn't go away, and then I was breastfeeding too, so I breastfed for a whole year. And I always say this, like when I was breastfeeding, it was great. Like it was good on money, like it was good for the baby. Like I was really proud of myself. But when I stopped breastfeeding, maybe like 2 months after, I started to feel like myself again. And when you're in that like feeling, when you're in that feeling, you don't realize you don't feel like yourself. Like when I was in that mindset, I was like, oh, like I'm fine, everything's fine. But then I stopped breastfeeding and my hormones probably started regulating. And I was like feeling energetic again and wanting to do more things and wanting to work out and wanting to hang out with my friends. And I'm like, oh my God, I miss this. Like, this is how I used to feel before having a baby. So I think like when I was in the moment, I just wasn't realizing that I was just like, oh, I'm so tired. It's because I'm having a baby. Like, and no, it really wasn't. Like, it was probably honestly just like my hormones being like all messed up. And like, so I'm just looking forward to piggybacking off of that. Like, now that I have that energy, now that I feel like myself again, I want to keep working on myself. And then I think it's also really important for my daughter to see that because I want her to like grow up and be like, oh, my mom was always working out. My mom was always eating like nutritious food. My mom was always doing something to better herself. So like that's what I want her to see because that's how I want her to be. Like I want her to grow up and like want more for herself. Like I don't want her to just like settle.
Yes, that's really good
So
that
that's what I look
you're
forward
trying
to.
to, yeah, trying to set an example for her. I'm so,
Hmm.
so, so happy to hear that. And kind of what is like, um, what has helped you kind of like keep pushing? And this is, as we're closing this episode, kind of what I've asked every girl. A little piece of advice for our Latinas who are mothers like you, who, you know, go through what you go through, who get called as like,
Hmm.
you know, a white girl. Like, tell me what is some advice that you could give those Latinas to kind of push forward, you know, do their best and get to the other side.
Yeah, I think it's really important to stay positive. I know it's hard sometimes to like say it, but like honestly, I think that's what's helped me a lot because I've never taken any of that stuff to heart. Like any
Mm-hmm.
comments that people say, I'm not like, oh my gosh, like why would they say that? Like I'm just kind of like, haha, like I laugh it off. It's more of like a joke to me. Like to me, it's like, ha ha ha, like they're just joking around with me. And
Yeah.
I don't know, that just sounds delusional, but like if you don't take it personal, like a lot of the times it's not anything like they're not even trying to be mean or they don't notice like the intention behind like they don't have bad intentions behind what they say or like what
Mm-hmm.
anything like that or like even if you're feeling like down it's like just stay positive. um a lot of the times people don't have bad intentions when they say things, so don't take anything too personal. I think it's just
Yeah.
important to be like, I don't know, like I don't want to keep saying like stay positive, but I think it's important to remember that like everything's gonna work out. You're like where you need to be at the moment. And I've always just had that mindset of like, it's gonna work out. Like like eventually,
Yeah.
like at the moment, maybe it seems like it's crazy, but it's like, oh, it's gonna work out. Like it'll work out. Like that's just how I've always been. Like, it'll work out. Like just
Yeah, the
trying not
funny
to like
thing is
stress too
it
much
does.
about it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So I'm just like, I don't want to like stress too much about one situation because I know it's going to work out eventually. And like, oh, if I don't feel like cleaning today, then don't. Like, I
Yeah.
know, like, I feel like it's like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And every once in a while, you just kind of have to stop, take a break. And like, I have those days when I get off work and I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want to cook." I'm like, okay, I'm not. And then I just call my
Yeah.
boyfriend, like, hey, like, I'm not cooking anything. And he's like, okay, I'll pick up some food. Like, it's fine. It'll be
Yeah.
okay. Like, just cook the next day. Like I said, just pick up. If you fall off, pick up. Don't feel like just because you fell off, you have to stay off.
Yes. We love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your piece
Yeah.
of advice. That really does help. A lot of people don't see that it's not the end of the world when things don't go your way. You
Hmm.
know, it's not the end of it all. It's just a little pebble on the road. But you are a very bright light and you seem so positive and I love that. We need more people like that. So
Yes.
keep
Yeah, I
putting
have to
out your
try to stay
content.
positive. I
Yes,
will.
we want to see more of you, and we are very grateful that you hopped on here to tell us a little
Mhm.
more about yourself. So, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of this whole thing, girl. You are a beautiful person, and I wish nothing but the best for you and your family and your little princess. She's gonna turn out to be such a cutie with a mom with such a beautiful heart. Like I can already
Oh.
tell. So, you are doing an amazing job as a mom and aspiring other moms to keep pushing. So thank you so much for being here, girly. I really hope that you hop on in another episode. Maybe,
Oh
maybe.
my gosh, I would love to. Thank you for having me. I love everything you're doing here. I love that you're bringing the Latino community together, and I love that you're making this podcast that's so relatable to like other Latinos. Like I said, I love podcasts, so it's fun. I was listening to like your podcast with Diana, I think.
Yes.
Yes, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun because like you can relate to so much." So, I love it.
Right? Right. And
Yes.
I try to cover like as much as I can. And let me tell you, I'm still new to this. Like I'm still trying to figure out what it's like to interview people. I've been doing the podcast by myself, so like it's a whole new phase, but I'm very honored to be able to like dip into people's lives and their stories and like, ask them what it's like and get to know them. And it also helps me build my like social skills and like understand what questions to ask, what not to ask, just learning. We're learning off of each
Mhm.
other. If I can learn from you and provide you a space for you to, be yourself, then I'm happy. I could die tomorrow and I feel like I did my thing. Yes.
No, you're doing
Yes.
great.
Thank you. But thank you so much for being here. And to everyone that's listening, remember to follow my girl on Instagram and TikTok. And it is Vanessa.vo2. Vanessa.vo2 on TikTok and Instagram. Go follow her. And remember to follow me on Instagram at Chica We Got This podcast. And same for TikTok. And that is for you to stick around, be a part of this community that I'm trying to build of Latinas who just want to be them, I just want you guys to be you and understand that there's a space where that uniqueness and that vulnerability is seen and heard. And, you know, I just want some friends too. But thank you so much for joining, Vanessa. I hope to see you again. Thank you guys for joining. And remember to listen to the next episode. I'll see you
Okay.
guys.